Express Mzansi, I'm Palisa Dembe, and we've got an exciting Friday edition for you. We meet Stacey Frew, a 12-year-old award-winning author who is making a difference with her Stacey Frew Foundation. Side-splitting comedian Lindy Johnson calls into the loft, and we kick it off with Tony X, a rising R&B star who dropped out of university to pursue his passion for music. Now, sometimes we follow in their footsteps, and sometimes you do a complete 180. So let us know on social media, how much influence did your parents have on your chosen career path? Ladies in the kitchen, happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday, Pali. Happy Friday,
Happy Friday,
Jen.
right back at you.
Yes. Stay with us, people, because today we are going to make, what are you making, Jen?
Well, Dolly, mine's going to be like sticking to your hips. It's chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, wow, nice. Guys, I am going to make beautiful jalapeno poppers. It's hot, it's beautiful, but let's go to Tony and see what he has to say.
Tony X, a rising South African R&B star, a child to pastors, and having grown up in a church within a musical family, he quickly pursued music as a hobby. Fast forward years later, and he's become a talented singer and songwriter.
If that is logic, then God simplicity. Out of all of the things I'd ask God to give, is you to come back to me. Go by Angelanga, baby. Duze kwame, duze kwame, duze Angelanga, baby. Duze kwame, duze kwame, duze Angelanga, baby. As long as I live.
Welcome to the loft, Tony X.
Hey guys, how you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing so good. I'm so glad that we're finally getting introduced to you officially on Afternoon Express. Now, from wanting to become a biokinetics practitioner, growing up as a pastor's son, to taking music on as a hobby, how did you know that music was what you wanted to pursue full-time as a career?
Music has always been, part of my family. I grew up obviously in the church, so everything that we did was music related. I learned how to play instruments in the church, singing. Every Sunday we were singing as a family at the church. So from there, that's when I knew, okay, this is what we do as a family, so it just carried on through my youth.
Now, we can't talk about your story and leave out the fact that you dropped out of your studies at university without the knowledge of your parents, and you pursued music until your mom, of course, found out. Talk to me about what happened then.
Second year of my studies in the middle, I'm just like, man, I'm really not happy about where I am in life. The music was gradually growing on the side, but the sports side of things, because of the injuries that I had sustained, I wasn't recovering quick enough. And so that killed my passion for sport, And then at the time, the crew that I was in was really growing, we were moving. And so the music side of things started to grow. That's when I decided, you know what, it's fine. I'm just gonna, just go for it and do this music thing. And 6 months in, I was really trying to figure out how I'm going to tell my parents. Didn't tell them for a whole 6 months. My mom found out eventually, and then she called me back home. She was like, yo, I know what you did. I know what you did. So it's about time you come back home. Let's go back. She tried to take me back to UJ. And I told her, Mom, I really want to pursue this, And then now I'm studying media. She told me, okay, you got to do this with school, And then that's how I ended up in the media school as advertising major now.
Angege, shout out to your mom and, of course, parents that have to end up supporting their children, because at the end of the day, it's your passion and it's your life. But we have to do so honestly, South Africa. Let's not lie to our parents. And I'm loving the fact that you have now rectified it and you're now making your parents very proud. Now, lockdown has come with many cons and for some pros, but for you, I'm happy to say it was more of the latter. So where were you able to silence out the noise of the world and make a decision on what you wanted to do within the music industry? Please may you just tell me about how you were able to do exactly that and where you're hoping the music journey takes you.
So before that, a lot of things were kind of stagnant, and it was really hard to move forward, try to put things together. For some reason, I don't know what it was, But eventually, when the lockdown happened, I was able to regroup, and really just try and figure out how to maneuver and figure things out musically. And even with the sound we're doing, I was able to gather that together and so forth. So that really helped me out to focus, and try and make things happen from a solo perspective. Because at the time we're moving as a group, as Punchline, the entity that I was in, and so it helped me to regroup and refocus. So that was sort of an advantage for me, and being also close to my family, that was really good because I was quarantined with them.
Now, it's still Women's Month here on Afternoon Express, and we want to know from you, who is the most influential female in your life and why? And do you have a message to all the brothers out there?
Of course, my mother, even though the time when I was trying to not tell her about school, but she has been very supportive of my dreams, and it's been very difficult for her to kind of let me do this because, I was very academic in high school. And so now it's like all that is kind of going to waste, almost to say. But she's been very supportive. And, even with everything happening around the country, I really feel, that our men should do better, our men should really do better because our women are the ones that raise us. We're the way that we are. I'm the way that I am because of my mother, and everything she's done for me. And so, man, I dedicate this month definitely to her. Now,
I know Mom is watching, very proud right now. So tell me about your latest track, Duze, and why people should be so excited to listen to it.
Well, Duze is definitely a love letter. So it's dedicated to wanting to be close to the loved one, being distant, from everything, from your family, from your partner, from, my mother. I've been, in Joburg for some time. I'm from Rustenburg, but I've been in Joburg just trying to push this hustle, school, this, that, the third, trying to make everything happen. And so Duze is just a letter to say, even though I'm out there hustling and trying to make things happen for myself, at the end of the day, I would really love you to be close right here, but I gotta do it. But the love is still there, you know what I mean? And so that's just the message that I put together.
I like that. Uti kam duze sondela, essentially.
Yeah, but the hustle gotta continue.
The hustle gotta continue, and not only that, we have to keep socially distanced. Tony X, thank you so much for bringing Duze and, of course, yourself to Afternoon Express. Talk about an R&B sensation. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for having me. Bless up. Bless South Africa. I'm coming for y'all.
And on that note, South Africa, head over to our social media platforms. Use that hashtag Afternoon Express and let us know what you think about our R&B sensation, Tony X, and his song, Duze.
Tony is such an inspiration, Jen, and it just tells me that, when you follow your hobby, that's what I did, guys. My hobby was cooking, and look what I'm doing.
And he's followed his heart. And the one thing he's learned, you can't hide anything from your mother.
Bailey, did your parents influence you what you do in your career?
That is such a good question, ladies, because I believe they might not have influenced me into the career path that I'm in, but boy, did they cheerlead.
Really?
They supported me, they encouraged me. My mom is my stage mom. My dad is there brainstorming ideas. So I'm loving the fact that they're all in when it comes to the entertainment industry. But ladies, later on, I'm going to find out about you and your parents' influence. And on social media, please use that hashtag Afternoon Express for all of your comments. Now, ladies, our very next guest, Stacey Fru. She's a talented 12-year-old author, of course, whose talent was too immense to contain. So coming up, she shares more about her passion and the Stacey Fru Foundation. South Africa's youngest award-winning author, Stacey Frew, who is now the author of 5 books, chats to us about her love for books and writing essays, poems, and songs. Welcome to The Loft, Stacey.
Hello, thank you for having me this afternoon, and I hope all the viewers are doing well during this coronavirus lockdown.
Yeah, girl, trust me, it's Friday shows like this that everyone looks forward to and needs after a very long week, and especially during this time. Things are kind of crazy. But Stacey, I just want to touch base as to your love for books and where it all started. Your first book was titled Smelly Cats. So what motivated you to write it? And how did you get to be such an award-winning book?
So the whole story of how I actually became to become a writer is actually quite funny. My mother graduated with her master's thesis sometime around 2014. And as we were watching the graduation videos, I kept on seeing everyone praising this certain book. So obviously I put 2 and 2 together, and I came to the conclusion that my mother had written a book without telling me. So I decided, and I took it upon myself, that I was going to write a book without telling anyone in my family except for my older brother. So it was sort of like this revenge thing that I was getting at towards my mother that actually inspired me to start writing Smelly Cats.
So are you just a rebellious person by nature? Are you the kind of person to be like, okay, you did this, so I'm going to take that challenge and double it?
Yes, and I'm going to do it better. That's the type of person I am.
I like that. Okay, you're the type of person that I kind of click with. Now tell us more about your Stacey Frew Foundation and how this foundation is making a difference with other kids in South Africa.
Yes. So the Stacey Frew Foundation is a foundation which is focused on safety, security, and education within young children. Why we believe so strongly in these aspects is because a child cannot grow and have a sense of individuality in growing up in a space that is not safe and secure. So in order for them to grow and to impact others, they need to be in a space in which they are comfortable, which is why we focus on safety and security. We educate children via various campaigns. For instance, the African Book a Child campaign, where we distribute books by African authors or by people who have written books on Africa, which is also to tell children that, hey, look, there are so many good things that are coming from your continent, and you should not lose yourself in stuff like technology and influences from outside. We also have the African Children of the Year Awards, which is an award ceremony which is meant to empower the African child and just inspire them to continue making an impact on their communities' lives, and various other projects under the foundation as well.
Girl, I'm sure when your parents see you now, they're like, I'm so proud. And to think you're only 12 years old, this is mind-blowing stuff. You also love dancing and you play the guitar as well as being a motivational speaker. Now, I do believe that all activities have a special place in your heart. But what is there to be said about having extramural activities and being involved outside of school?
Yes. So extramural activities are good for various reasons, because one, it takes your mind off school, takes your mind off the pressure that school brings. And 2, it also helps you to expand your hobbies and also make new friends. Extramurals, you attend with various grades. You can do various subjects, play a sport, or maybe do a cultural such as chess or even drawing. So having these extramural opportunities is a time for you to find a hobby, find a passion for yourself, but also to distance yourself away from the school pressures, which is why it's very important for you to take on something that you enjoy.
Now, Stacey, you have a total of 5 books now, and they all have a special message to it. Now, is there any books that you're working on and that we can look forward to?
So right now, I am working on the editing process of what I like to call my first novel. It's a lengthy book, unlike anything else that I've written, and it's an interesting story. I really did pour a lot of time and effort into thinking about that now. But we're saving the book for later publications, because right now we're working on compiling a list of my short stories together, so that it can be like a short story collection book. And we're also looking to see if we can publish my poems together as a book. Yeah.
So Stacey, before I let you go, what message do you want to give to kids of South Africa about reading and writing?
Yes. My message to give other children in South Africa about reading and writing is to be patient and to find what you like, because there are so many genres in which you can read in and so many things that you can write. You might find a book that you think is interesting, but you end up not liking it. Don't worry, there are millions of others to try from. So be patient and just read, basically.
Thank you. It's that simple. Thank you so much, Stacey Frew, for joining us. Goodbye.
Bye.
Let's all take advice from Stacey's books and fight to spread love. South Africa, please head over to our social media platforms. Use that hashtag Afternoon Express and let us know how you're coping with extramurals and school.
I cannot believe it. That girl is so young, Jen. When I was her age, I was playing with Barbie dolls.
But you know what? You can't hold a good girl down. When you have a passion, nothing's going to stand in your way.
Yeah. Polly, I'm sure you also start early, girl, in your life, hey?
Started from the bottom, now we're here, just like Stacey through. No, I love her. You know, it's quite interesting to see people who are brave, very young, went after fearlessly what they wanted to become. But ladies, finding out from you, I mean, how supportive, Jenny, were your parents?
Do you know what? My father always supported my passion for cooking, but when it came to actually doing the career, he said it's not a place for a woman in the kitchen. He says, I have money for you, Inel, for a wedding, but not for education. So I became a telephone electrician.
That is so interesting.
That's not a lie.
So your dad was like, it's okay, I got the money, just as long as you just don't go work.
No, it was for a wedding, yeah.
I love that. And for you, and now, please may you hold yours, because I'm going to ask you shortly. But what are we making after these?
Chocolate chip cookies, baby, with fruits of the forest. And this tastes delicious. This is apricot, but we're going to use the berry one. You can actually use any one you like.
Okay, I've got the strawberry flavor. So everybody at home, please may you head over to the Afternoon Express website if you want to be cooking these delicious cookies after these.
Express yourself. You only have one skin. Nourish it and wear it bravely.
Fruits of the Forest from Clover just added real cereal crunch. A symphony of fruit, oats, seeds, and granola crunch. Fruits of the Forest. Real fruit, real cereal, real taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Welcome to the kitchen again, Mzansi. We're going to make a beautiful sweet treat now. Chop chip cookies. Who doesn't love chop chip cookies? Well, you could actually make a whole batch, a double batch. and then for the
and eat
weekend.
them yourself. No,
yeah.
eat them yourself.
Jen, am I excited about this recipe?
It's a really nice, it's simple, it's easy, and seriously, I love anything that all goes into one bowl.
Yeah, and this is actually what happens here. Can I ask you, when is a favorite time to eat choc chip cookies?
All day.
I like to hide them under my bed. I hide all my sweet stuff under my bed in Zanzi, even my my caramel, condensed milk caramel, under the bed for my
Why?
husband.
Oh,
No,
for your
you
husband?
see what I do? And the next morning I wake up, oh gosh, what did I eat last night?
I say there's your guilty pleasures.
Yeah. Okay, let's start. How do you
Right.
start this?
So what I'm going to do is, obviously we're going to be using these lovely fruits of the forest, and this
Ah.
has got nice cereal in it, so it's got fibre and roughage, and it's going to just give this a little bit of extra. So we'll start with some eggs, okay?
How did you just break that egg? Sorry, I just want to see what you did.
I had this communication with the egg, and I said to it, come to Mama.
So
Mommy.
you break it with your ring?
Yes. Jeez, I'll break my nail, doll.
Remember, Mzanzi, if you want to break an egg, use your wedding ring.
Okay, so you want to get this going. Break the egg up because you want the white and the yellow to be friends. And then I'm going to put the icing sugar in.
Yeah.
Okay, so the icing sugar will make the cookie nice and light, and it dissolves very, very easily.
But I like that we're not using sugar because it takes much longer time for sugar to dissolve than icing sugar.
Absolutely. And then I normally, see what I like to do? I like to go from the middle and then just bring it all back, and it just goes so much quicker than trying to sort of go all the way around the bowl.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to put my delicious fruits of the forest. Oh,
I love
this is
fruits
such
of
a
the
good-
forest. It's got
nice.
loads of nutrients inside there. And what I like about it is the big fruit, and it's crunchy. It's beautifully crunchy. Yeah,
It's the
fiber.
For me, I think that's so important that one should always get. So have a look here, darling. Bite with the cereals in it.
Jen, I've got a ready dough here. I like to play with dough, and I want to taste this dough because I can taste the cookie when I taste the dough. It's already crunchy. I can taste the vanilla, but I can taste the fruit of the forest.
You see, this is what I like. I mean, if I look at my mixture, the fruit hasn't lost its shape. You know, it's really nice and big. Okay, so I'm going in here now with a little bit of flour.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just hold a little bit back. This is quite a wet mixture, so don't be alarmed when you make it, because you're going to sort of mix it up with, you're going to, you know, put it onto the tray with some spoons.
Yes.
And then salt goes into it. As you know, salt enhances the flavor of anything and everything. And we're actually going to add a little bit of baking powder to this.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is, although I have to say that Fruits of the Forest is going to give it a nice lift, it's got chocolate chips in it, which are very heavy through the lips and on the hips, and who cares? Because I don't.
So what I've done here, if you've made the dough already made, what I like to do is to make it like in a type of a sausage.
Yes.
And then I put this in the freezer, and when I feel like cookies, you just put the oven on, cut them, put them into your plate, and then within 10, because this bakes in about 12 minutes.
Yes, they go very fast.
Yeah.
Do you know what I would also do? You could actually mark them off.
What do you mean mark them
so
off?
In other words, just take your knife and kind of on the dough itself, just make little indentations so that...
I've seen.
You've seen. I wanted to put more of this. This is so delightful.
So look at that.
You see?
It's like a miracle.
It's a miracle. Yes, it's a miracle.
So we're going to put that on there. And then, the way I also like to do it here, I know you're going to use the spoon method, but I've added a little bit of extra flour in my dough to make it more pliable.
Okay.
And not like spoony, and I just like to cut it like this.
Okay, yes.
And then put that on the plate. And always, guys, preheat the oven, 180 degrees.
Yes.
And then always in the center of the oven. You bake always in the center of the oven, not on the top or at the bottom or anything like that.
Okay, so this is a really nice recipe. And now, how big do you want your cookies, doll?
As big as better,
as
dear.
better.
You know me. You know me. I
go
like my
big or
food.
go
Huh? Jen, I think you need to give them a bit of space there. Aren't they going to crawl into each other's bodies?
Well, I don't mind if they crawl into each other's space, because then you do is you just take them and you break them, baby. Or you eat a double one. It's called a figure of 8.
I'm going to grab one here. and I want to
Okay.
taste these goodies. Look how beautiful it is. Look at the choc chips. And I think what you can use is all, if you want to zhuzh it up, you can use white chocolate, you can use dark
yes,
chocolate,
or
you can
both.
use mint chocolate, you can use any type of chocolate that you like. And you can also use any type of fruit of the forest that you like. You know, it comes in
Yes.
different flavors. So you can use
Absolutely.
any one you like. Let me just have a quick television bite, guys. They tell us television bite, otherwise our mouths are full of food and we can't talk to you.
Well, sometimes we don't mind if we can't talk. Look
Good is
here.
lekker.
So I'm going to, this is just a little tip. You can use milk if you want to, or a little bit of beaten egg, and we're just going to spread it.
Yeah.
So that it does its thing like that. And these are like, to see how she eats on her own, but it's fine enough.
I'm sorry, darling Jen.
I suppose one of us need to talk, so you can,
I'm going to cut this one in half for you. I'm sorry. Here we go.
No, what I basically want you to take
a peace offering.
It's a piece. Yeah,
It's
a little peace offering.
I thought you were going to catch that one.
No, what I wanted to talk about was the texture.
Yeah.
It's lovely and chewy and crumbly. And that is why I want to just divide that up with that. That is why you can see you get that height.
Yes.
On the left. Let me just keep this. I'm not going to eat it now because I just want to keep talking. Can I do that?
Yes, for sure.
Would you
can do
recommend
anything.
it? Would you
Yes.
recommend it?
The more chocolate, the better. So, peeps, the more chocolate, the better. And if you want this recipe, go to afternoonexpress.co.za and join us on Monday again for another fabulous recipe.
Fruits of the forest from Clover just added real cereal crunch. A symphony of fruit, oats, seeds, and granola crunch. Fruits of the forest. Real fruit, real cereal, real taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Ladies, come on over. It smells so good right now in our entire loft. Those cookies, you know, ladies, what it reminds me of?
Take one.
Oh, thank you. On that note, I will not mind if I do. It just reminds me of when our granny was trying to batter us up. When we did something wrong or she needs us to go to the shops or something, she'd always bake some delicious cookies for us.
Yeah.
But ladies, you know, Anele, I have to find out from you, in terms of the content on the show, what's resonating with you so much?
I think if I were more as a young child, like that lady that's
Stacey.
If I had more inspiration from my parents as a young child, I would have probably been a totally different person. And I think that's so amazing because you're brilliant with your kids, Jen.
I love children. I've got my own preschool, which I opened for my one son, because you always want the best for your kids, and that is why your father wanted you to be a scientist and think about food. It's alchemy.
Disaster.
It is. It's science. It's scientific. You bring flavors together. It's stuff. I nearly said.
No, beautiful ladies. I love the fact that, you know, even though we all have different experiences as to how we grew up, it all culminated to us being here and in turn living out our purpose and our passion. Now, ladies, comedian Lindy Johnson's meteoric rise to fame is only fitting for the hilarious star from Paarl. Coming up, she calls into the loft to catch up.
Express yourself.
Warm up your winter with Super M. Whether you need a morning pick-me-up, a midnight snack, or a study cram filler, buy any Super M. Follow Super M SA on Instagram or Facebook. Upload a photo of you enjoying a warmed-up Super M and use the hashtag #WarmUpFiller to stand a chance of winning your share of that 500,000 Rand in cash and prizes. newcomer comedian Lindy Johnson, who since winning an open mic showdown in 2017, has since skyrocketed in the comedy scene and shared the stage with various comedians around the world. Lindy, welcome back to Afternoon Express.
Thank you so much for having me, Melissa.
Girl, I haven't seen you probably since 2018-19, when I remember yourself, Mal Jones and Anne Hirsch were just roasting myself, Jeannie and Bonnie. But I love to see your face again, and the fact that you've just done so well speaks volumes.
Thank you so much. I mean, I wouldn't call it roasting. We were just having a fun chat, doing some cooking, whatever. I'm a very kind person. I've rebranded since 2018.
Wow.
It's 2020, and it has really humbled me.
Okay, let's talk about the new and improved humble Lindy. I mean, tell me about how you became the comedian that you are today, and what made you choose this path?
Well, I don't think I actually chose this path. It chose me because I just sucked at so many other things. So I had to do stand-up comedy because it was the one thing that I was good at. And I was like, you know what? I have very low self-esteem, so I'm going to do this thing that makes me feel good. And comedy was the thing that made me feel good.
Wow, I think that laughter makes us all feel good. But girl, you were handpicked by the talented Mr. Trevor Noah for the show Nation Wild. Now, what did that mean for you as a comedian, especially with only just being on stage for a short while?
Being chosen for Nation Wild by Trevor Noah was just a confirmation for me that this was the path for me that I needed to follow. I was 22 at the time, and I wasn't sure. Maybe I should go back and study. Maybe I should get a proper job and then do something else. But then I got that, and I was like, you know what? Obviously, these good things are coming to me. And I never thought that my first day into comedy, I'll be on the same stage as probably the biggest South African comedian ever. So I was like, you know what? This is a sign from God. And who am I to question God? She knows what she's doing.
Absolutely. Now, during lockdown, how has it been for you? I mean, what have you gotten up to? I definitely know that you've been keeping up to speed with social media memes and just keeping us laughing.
Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time on social media just because it's fun, and I've been baking a lot, I've been writing, I've been in ads just to like explore different parts of the entertainment industry. Right now I'm doing ads and writing and the baking. I've been baking so much when I look in the mirror, all I see is a cinnamon roll, so I'm going to put that on pause for a while.
Girl, I love cinnamon rolls, so I don't even know why you're beefing. I could kind of turn into a cinnamon roll myself. We see that you also had your first online comedy show with other well-known comedians as well. Now, how did you find the show online as opposed to having the audience? I mean, don't you miss the laughter?
Of course I do. Nothing on earth compares to doing live stand-up comedy. It is the best thing ever. Like, there's nothing better than live stand-up comedy. But being at home has its benefits. Like, it's like home ground advantage. Like, I don't have to wear pants, but I'm definitely wearing pants for this interview. Don't check, just believe me.
We hope
so. You don't have to wear... you don't have to wear pants. You know, the comfort of your own home. You get to drink tea while you're doing a show. I mean, there are benefits, and I do believe in looking at the bright side. I mean, it's my whole job.
Wow, beautifully said. I mean, Lindy, so looking to the future, what can we expect from you? Do you have any up-and-coming shows that we can look forward to?
I do have a very exciting gig for the Ladies of Hope of Innerdale. They're a charity organization. We're filming in September, but it's on the 28th. You can get tickets on dreamstream.co.za. It's only 70 Rand. It's for an amazing cause for Innerdale in Johannesburg. I really wish you guys would all be there. The lineup is amazing, full of comics and different kind of acts. I'm so excited.
I'm very excited for it too. I mean, I just found out about this, but I'm already booking my spot right there. But as we're rounding up and closing off Women's Month, I want us to end it off with a bang and on a high note. But not only for the women, for the men too, because they've been supporting us hand in hand. So do you have any words of encouragement for other young artists out there looking to venture into comedy?
I think this is the best time right now because comedy clubs are opening up again. So my suggestion, if you do want to be a stand-up comedian, go to gigs. That's the best experience you could ever get. Go in Mitchell's Plain, Premium Comedy Club is opening up again. In Mappening here in Johannesburg, Shakers is doing gigs again. There are spaces for you to exist. Just go and watch. You don't have to perform your first time. Just watch. Let the comedians in charge know that you are there, you are interested, and when you are ready, write down 5 minutes of jokes and do it.
Absolutely. That's just all it comes down to. Putting yourself out there, I suppose, and waiting to hopefully get those laughs back and not just dying on stage. Thank you for joining us, Lindy. Thank you for those words of encouragement and all the best with your future ventures. I'm looking forward to the laughter. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Melissa.
Now we're wishing all of our women to continue to shine and remember to live, laugh and love. If you loved Lindy as much as we do, please follow her on her social media platforms for more information on attending her shows.
I've got so much respect for ladies that are comedians because it's probably the most difficult career to be a comedian. I'm not naturally a funny person. Are you?
My husband thinks I'm very funny and strange.
Polly, do people think you are funny?
I mean, ladies, I don't know if people think I'm funny or if they think I'm just a joke.
There you go.
You're not a joke, not one of those two.
I mean, Anele, for yourself, how positive, inspirational and influential were your parents when it comes to you cooking it up a storm in the kitchen?
Not at all, darling. They wanted me to become a scientist. So they sent me to varsity to be a scientist. And you know what happened? You can see now what happened with that. I get opgeskop, you know, like Tony did. He also was skopt op. So nothing, actually. And later years, they were supportive of what I'm doing now. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. That is so interesting. But you know what you are doing? You're making the results happen in the kitchen. It might not be in the laboratory or anything. But ladies, I have to find out then. Coming up, what are we going to be cooking up?
Oh, this kitchen laboratory is going to make jalapeno poppers. Beautiful, hot jalapeno poppers.
That sounds delicious. All of that coming up.
Express yourself.
to our kitchen, peeps. It's Friday, and we've got something hot for you in the kitchen today. We're making a beautiful restaurant dish, hot jalapeno poppers filled, and we're going to bake them in a crunchy, breadcrumbs. Jenny, what are we making, sister?
Well, we're going to have them two ways. I love having the option of another way to do with them.
Yeah.
So we can either stuff them or we can slit them open, and we're going to fill those poppers with cheese and deliciousness, and then, of course, I'm going to double crumb mine because I want crunchy.
Crunchy. You know, this is really one dish that I order in the restaurant.
Yes.
I love it. With a cold beer, of course. Ek bedoel, now that we can have a beer again, I'll have this with a cold beer. So how are we going to start with this? I'm going to ask you to fry the capers for me, please, so long. So what we've got here, we've got cream cheese.
Am I doing it in the Exceller?
Yes, in the Exceller sunflower oil, yeah. So I've got some cream cheese here. We've got rice here, Exceller rice. Remember, 1 cup of rice makes 2 cups of rice.
Absolutely.
Isn't that so economical? And it cooks beautiful every single time. Look how loose
Nice
it
and
is.
loose, yeah.
It's so I'm just going to eyeball it. You know, we eyeball kitchen stuff.
We know exactly.
Just like an eyeball. So that is my rice in here. I'm going to loosen it up a little bit. The cream cheese. And now, peeps, you can flavor it with whatever you want to flavor it with. We're going to flavor it with green peppers. Is there something
nice.
else that you would replace this with, Jen?
Well, you know what? You could use some red onion, some spring onion would be really, really nice.
Yeah.
But, I mean, peppers are lovely, and the Mexicanos are love the
ya arriba. Some garlic. I've got some garlic powder, but I think I would replace this with fresh garlic.
Yes, absolutely.
Like fresh garlic.
That's
And we're going to add always cheese, more cheese.
Yes.
This is like a triple cheese. So I've got
Nice.
some cheddar cheese in here. Mozzarella cheese.
Mozzarella will give it that lovely stringy soupli, you know, that
Yes.
nice sort of yum.
Cheese in here. And then Jen, paprika. You like
I
a
love
connoisseur
paprika.
with paprika,
Well, the
smoked
thing is,
paprika.
you know, people say how and why and what actually is smoked paprika. Now,
Yes.
what you'll find is that paprika, or the smoked paprika, is the Spanish, and it's the cousin to the Hungarian one, which I bought so much when I was up on the Danube.
I remember you gave me
I
a
gave you some,
packet.
yes.
Yeah.
So what they do with the for the smoked paprika, they dry it,
Yeah.
and then they smoke it over oak, and it gives it a very distinctive, delicious flavour. Absolutely, yes.
It lightens up.
Oh, yes.
I can smell it.
It's beautiful.
It's
that
beautiful.
smokiness.
Yeah.
And then you'll find that you have the option of the different strengths. You know, you
Yes.
can either have it sweet. Just be
Yes.
careful.
Oh, yeah, careful with that.
You have it sweet, or you can have it picante, which is a little bit spicy.
Yeah.
So you can choose. Fortunately, they sell it in different strengths, you know.
Yes.
So it's gorgeous. And the other thing is they make it from what they call the tomato pepper. And
What is a tomato pepper?
it's like a chili that's called a tomato pepper, but I think that it's a relation. I think it's also a cousin to the jalapeno. Not
It's like we are
jalapeno,
cousins.
not jala.
Jala?
Jala.
Jalapeno.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, Jen, it's like cousins like me and you. We like family food
Yes,
cousins. So they like cousins.
absolutely, of
Okay, I
course.
need some chopped coriander, Queen, please.
Okay,
don't
let's do this.
Don't just do one thing at a time. You must
Darling,
multitask.
listen, I'm talking and frying. That's not multitasking. Isn't that what girls do?
This is what girls do. But people must be very careful with smoked paprika. It
Yes.
can be very, very, very strong. So
does.
please don't put too much in. Just a hint. I'll start with it really a little bit, and then you taste it.
Can I?
Yes, gooi, Queen.
I'm
yes.
distancing, baby. I'm
Coriander for
distancing.
me is also one of those amazing fresh flavors. But some hate it and some
I
love
love
it.
it. Well, people have natural, there is an absolute allergy that people have to it, and they say it smells like a bug. Like
No,
a stink
Jen,
bug.
I don't believe what you're telling
it's
me
true.
now.
It's true. Some people have this absolute abhorrence to it. They cannot take it and stand it now. I just want to bring your attention back to these beautiful
Oh,
little
Look at that.
capers. The other thing, people think that capers come from the nasturtium plant. You can't. That's like a fake.
Yeah.
And you can make them and you can put them in brine and use them, but it actually comes from a bush. And there are 3 ways that the caper grows. It's first a little baby one, which
Yeah.
is the most expensive because it's a very thorny bush.
Yes.
And they, what do you call it? They harvest by hand. And then you get the next size, which is this size. And then, of course, you get your caper berry, which is the blossom, just before the flower opens.
So, guys, I have now deep-pitted the jalapeno peppers. Remember, jalapeno peppers are not too hot. They're just like a perfect heat for me.
I don't think you're telling the truth.
I
because
am.
It's unpredictable
Why?
like a lady.
Oh, yeah, that I can
It
understand.
has its moments. Trust
Yeah.
me, been there, done that.
So what we're going to do, we fill them up like this.
Fantastic.
And then we're going to fry them. So I've halved them and filled them up. And then
Okay.
our breading station, always first with the flour.
Yes.
Then you hop it into the eggs. A lot of people don't like messing, but I believe when you're in a kitchen, you use your hands. Man, you use your
one.
hands.
Are you using 2?
I'm
That's
using 2.
fine.
I know it was a mistake.
Yeah, sometimes because you might have an itch.
And then we're just going to fry that off in a bit of Excella oil. And I'm going to have another one here. Jen, and you're going to bake yours. So
I'm
what you
gonna
can do, you
bake,
can
yes.
bake yours as well.
Yes. So I'm just going to take these babies and...
Bit healthier option.
And you know what? If you don't want them too hot, because some people really love the flavor but not the heat. So the membrane, that white membrane, that's the devil. That's the worst part. So take a spoon and scrape it this way out so it doesn't get the juice in your eyes. And the seeds are the second part. And then, of course, if you have a look in here, and now you've got those little cells. When
Yeah.
you scrape, don't scrape too hectically because that's also, it's got a lot of heat and that juice can hurt you. Okay.
I love the peppers with the pips. I'm sorry.
Me
I
too.
eat them with
I
the
do.
pips.
I know, I do as well.
I really do eat them
I
with the
do
pips.
as
And look
well.
how quickly this was to make. Look at that. Don't they look divine?
They look like them
I'm going to
ready.
try and fill this one, and I just want to show you guys how difficult it is to fill it because I've clipped those, but then you just have to use your finger. I know they look more prettier, but the restaurants normally cut them half, like a little bit open.
You can
Okay?
do it like this, and then you can just close. You know what the wonderful thing about the breading is? It hides all the ills.
What do you mean, ills?
Well, the thing is, you can bluff it, darling. You don't have to stuff it down the front.
Oh.
You can bluff a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, you are doing it the right way. Don't get me wrong. But
I just love this with a glass of beer. It is my favorite thing. It's hot, and then a cold beer. Well, there's just nothing. And the recipe, people can find Pete's. It's on afternoonexpress.co.za. Please go there for the recipe. Jen, how far are you?
I'm good. I'm going to just toss this into a little bit of... I'm actually going to put another layer of flour.
Yeah. And then I
because-
want those capers, please.
Oh, you can have my capers.
Can I?
Yes.
I love them. I love to taste these. They just so
On your
crispy.
own. Come, sister, do you? You told me
No.
I'm your cousin and now you eat alone.
And you serve this with your beautiful
Sure.
chili peppers. And look at that. Isn't that easy, quick?
It's
And it's a
delicious.
showstopper. Look at that. I like to serve it with even a hotter sauce.
Yes.
It's like a hotter
now
sauce.
you're like a little bit Sichuan-y, like the Chinese girl.
It's like...
Look at this. This
Uh-huh.
oil is beautiful. It's clean. It's had a very high heat in it.
Yeah.
I'm going to strain it and we're going to keep that and make the most delicious salad dressing with it. This has got the
Oh,
caper.
because it's got the caper flavor
Divine.
in it.
Absolutely.
How clever is that?
Yes.
Well, peeps, this is it. Wasn't it divine? This is beautiful. It's crispy, it's hot, but it's not too hot. So if you want to add this recipe to your recipe collection, go to afternoonexpress.co.za. But if you missed any of our steps here, here's a quick recap.
food looks delicious, but I'm ready to eat. It's been a long week.
Yeah, those magic words. Let's eat.
Let's
Yeah?
eat.
Yes,
And
indeed.
speaking of which, Anele, please just tell us about this incredible food that you've dished up.
Okay, we've got here the chili poppers that we've got here. Jen, how many do you want?
Well, listen, I'm a greedy girl, but 2 will do me fine. And I'm-
Do you want a bit of this chili sauce as
no,
well?
thank you. You can keep
Oh,
your
come
chili
on, be
sauce.
a big girl.
I am a big girl and I wear big girl panties, but I had a sneak bite earlier and that was a little devil.
Is it?
It was so hot.
Chili, ne?
But Polly, you said that you're still going to tell us your influence of your parents on your career.
Yeah, let me let you guys in just a bit on more detail
Yeah.
as to how things worked out for me in my life. So I think my parents are overly involved in my life.
Yeah.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, even when you do not need the advice, the opinions, they will be there dishing it out first, saying, those ripped jeans to that proposal, let's not wear that. This and that, I would do it like that. And I'm like, hold up, whose life is this in the first place? So, ladies, I've been blessed enough to have that influence in my life.
I think it is wonderful. And I love your mommy. You speak to her every day.
Yeah, everyone I think the Afternoon Express family already know what time it is when it comes to my mom and when it comes to my family. But I mean, Jenny, when you are now looking at your children and what they want to go after in their lives, how controlling are you when it comes to that?
I'm not. I've always left them, unless I can see they're going to take the wrong path, but I've always allowed them to follow their passion because I think back to my father who wanted the best for me, but I could have started a lot earlier in life, and eventually, because if you have that passion, nothing is going to stop you. So I guide and encourage and try to inspire, but I would never, my youngest son, Ryan, is a star. He's a whiz in the kitchen. Nothing would have stopped him because he's a community person, so he does all that good stuff.
Wow.
She's an amazing mom and she's a restaurateur and probably one of the best in the country. I've known Jen probably for about 20 years
Yes,
now.
for a
We've been cooking
lifetime.
together. And let me tell you, I've never come across a more positive person. She is a person I look up to.
Now join us again on Monday, Mzansi, for a brand new week on Afternoon Express. Until then, Mzansi, have a fabulous weekend. Stay safe and happy eating.
Bye.
Afternoon Express. Made with love by Clover.
Nada. Feel Good production.